Good morning, students. Let us start with today's session. Honorable Supreme Court, in a large number of authorities, has discussed section 154 with regard to registration of FIR, and various high courts also have discussed this section 154 in large number of cases. And the controversy remained before all the courts as to whether, please listen to me, don't write anything, I will dictate each and everything, understand the concept. Now the controversy before Honorable High Court and Honorable Supreme Court was there as to whether it is mandatory on the part of the police to register an FIR in all the cases where cognizable offense has been committed, or the police is entitled to conduct preliminary inquiry before registration of FIR. Now this controversy has been discussed more than 100 cases by Honorable Supreme Court, and there are more than thousands cases where Honorable High Court, have expressed their views, and divergent views have emerged. And even Supreme Court in some cases has expressed that the police is entitled to conduct preliminary inquiry first of all before registering an FIR. But in some cases, Honorable Supreme Court has held, no, it is essential, it is obligatory on the part of the police to immediately register an FIR. Now, in such a situation, let me first of all throw light over this section. Now, this please keep in mind that in this section, it has been laid down particularly that whenever any information is given to the police relating to cognizable offense, the police shall reduce that information in writing, and the complainant shall put his signatures on that complaint, and the police officer in charge of the police station shall record FIR, first information report. Now first, what is a first information report? Now there is one register with the police. It is known as FIR register. Now every information relating to cognizable offense is recorded in that register, and that register is having serial numbers which has been allotted during 1 year. It means first number is started from 1st January of every year, and this register, these serial numbers comes to an end on 31st December of that year with the last FIR. Now, whenever we are to refer some FIR, we write like this: FIR number 88 of. Now this is how we are to refer FIR. That from this it is shown that in 1970 some FIR was registered at serial number 88. Section 154 subsection 1, it makes mandatory for the police to register an FIR if some information relating to commission of cognizable offense has been given to the police. Now, on this particular subsection 1, a large number of judgments are available. But I will recommend that don't read any judgment, because I am going to give you one judgment which is containing gist of all the judgments. And briefly, it is Lalita Kumari versus State of UP. You may not write anything, I will dictate you. Now, in this case, Lalita Kumari versus State of UP, a constitutional bench was there. 5 judges together discussed this malady which we have been facing. And they have laid down in this authority that if information makes it clear that some cognizable offense has been committed, then the police is bound to register an FIR, and they will register immediately that FIR. Now they have expressed here their view that if the police officer is not registering an FIR, the police officer can be punished under section 166A of IPC, where minimum punishment is 6 months, which can be extended up to 2 years. Now, students, after Nirbhaya case of Delhi, what happened? Parliament has also passed various laws. It has amended CRPC, it has amended IPC, it has amended Evidence Act also, and it introduced many new laws, because that Nirbhaya case was a very heinous crime. Then various laws have been inducted in our IPC relating to safeguard of women. And now in section 154 also, Parliament has made amendment that if some offense has been committed against women, like rape, like section 354, outraging the modesty of a woman, or throwing the acid on the woman. Now, in such type of cases, if the police is not registering an FIR, the police can be punished under section 166. The concerned police officer will be brought to the court, and he will be tried for not registering an FIR, which is containing commission of offense against a woman. Now, the Parliament has also made the amendment that if the complainant is temporarily or permanently or physically or mentally disabled, then his statement should be recorded by the police officer at the residence of the complainant. Moreover, the law has been amended that if such offense of rape has been committed against a woman, the male officer will not record the statement of woman. It is only the woman officer of the police department who will record the statement of that lady, because that lady can express her all incident openly to that lady officer. Now, if some violence is made, again the concerned police officer will be punished under section 166A. Then in such cases, it has also been amended that the police officer will take the complainant to the judicial magistrate, and the judicial magistrate will record the statement of that complainant under section 164, subsection 5. That section we have already discussed in detail. And it will be mandatory on the part of that judicial magistrate to record that statement. If the complainant is temporarily or permanently, physically or mentally disabled, then his statement should also be videographed, and his statement will also be treated as examination in chief throughout the trial. Now, very, very important amendments were made during the year of 2013. Let me take you people back. Now, the question arose before Honorable Supreme Court in this constitutional bench in case of this Lalta Gamari versus State of UP. And the question was whether the police is bound to register an FIR. Now, they have laid down in clear wordings that if the information discloses the commission of cognizable offense, then the police officer cannot refuse. He will have to register an FIR, otherwise contempt proceeding can be initiated against him, or he can be punished under these provisions also. Now, Honorable Supreme Court has also held that sometime the information given to the police is not sufficient to disclose the commission of offense. In other words, if the information given to the police does not disclose that some cognizable offense has been committed, in that case, the police can conduct a preliminary inquiry for the purpose of ascertaining only the fact as to whether some cognizable offense has been committed or not. Thus, they have laid down that police is competent to conduct preliminary inquiry before registering an FIR. The main purpose of that preliminary inquiry is only to ascertain whether cognizable offense has been committed or not. And the police officer is nobody to check the veracity of the witnesses or to check the truthfulness in the case, because he is to simply say whether cognizable offense has been committed or not. Now, Honorable Supreme Court in this constitutional bench has laid down and has given some instances and has held that in these instances, the police can conduct prelim inquiry for the purpose of reaching the decision as to whether cognizable offense has been committed or not. Now, they have laid down certain circumstances that in matrimonial disputes or family disputes, it is the duty of the police to conduct preliminary inquiry first of all. And they have laid down that this preliminary inquiry must be concluded within 7 days. The police cannot prolong this unnecessarily. And very interesting thing, the constitutional bench made it clear that the police must record, first of all, in its DDR, daily diary report. Yes, students, keep in mind that there are two very important registers kept by every police station. One is daily diary report, or we can say general diary report, or we can say station diary report. Now, every incident is recorded in that. If some officer, higher officer has come, first of all, entry is made in that register. If some accused has been arrested, first of all, entry is made in that register. Now, thus, that is the register which shows the working of the police station from time to time. Now, that daily diary register is kept, and there the numbers are allotted daily. Daily new number is allotted. But in FIR, numbers are given relating to 1 year. Now this, let me come to this. Now, Honorable Supreme Court has held that if the police is of the view that preliminary inquiry is required, then it will record the same thing in, first of all, DDR, so that it can be known when the information was received, and thereafter they must conclude within 7 days. Within 7 days, they will find out whether the cognizable offense has been committed or not. If the cognizable offense has been committed, then they will immediately write FIR, and they will write the FIR number in DDR register against that corresponding entry, and they will also write in FIR register the number of FIR, number of DDR, so that both registers must tally. Now, Honorable Supreme Court, in this case, made it very clear that if the police officer reaches the conclusion that no cognizable offense has been committed, then it must give information to the informant who has given the first information. He must be informed about the closure of the case before conducting investigation. Now let us see further. Now such a preliminary inquiry can be done in matrimonial disputes, family disputes, so that injustice may not be done to accused or to complainant. Similarly, preliminary inquiry can be in commercial offenses which are relating to business, which are relating to trade. Therefore, unnecessarily, the police should not do injustice to the public. No. Then medical negligence. Suppose a doctor is being booked, FIR is going to be registered, or some information has been given to the police that some doctor he has caused death due to negligence. Now here the police can take time for getting the opinion of superior doctors that really some negligence has been committed, some offense has been committed or not, really cognizable offense has been committed or not. No, here also in medical negligence, this preliminary inquiry can be conducted. Then in corruption cases also, the police may not register the FIR immediately. Now CBI with CBI, there is a specific provision in certain laws that CBI will not register the FIR unless it is confirmed. It first of all confirms whether really some cognizable offense has been committed or not. Then there are cases over 3 months delay. Now, if some information has been given relating to cognizable offense which was committed 3 months ago, then the police can conduct, first of all, preliminary inquiry for the purpose of finding out whether really some cognizable offense has been committed or not. Now, this list is not exhaustive. It is just some instances has been given. Now, this section 154 has been thoroughly interpreted in this authority. Yesterday, I asked my here manager to send you that authority. This authority is available on app, and they also gave direction to you people that get it and get some printout also out of that. We will read that authority because this authority is very important. You may not touch any other authority. Reading this authority will be making the concept in your mind very clear with regard to the duties of the police, with regard to the law laid down in section 154. Now this 154, it remained in controversy continuously for many years. But in this case, yes, students, keep in mind that when some constitutional bench lays down a law, lays down some authority in a case, that is treated as a law. Every court is bound to follow that. Every other department, government department, whatever the officer may be, they are also bound to follow this law. Therefore, this authority is so important. You must keep this authority ready. We will read this authority. First of all, we will read this section 154. In fact, what is the basic law? What is the basic law on this FIR? Because, let me here express my opinion. You have also seen that how these politicians, they control the SHOs. SHO mean who is in charge of the police station. How they give direction to register an FIR or not to register an FIR. But we have already discussed that judicial magistrate is there. If in case the police is not registering an FIR, the complainant can go to the judicial magistrate. And judicial magistrate is competent under section 156, subsection 3, to give an order to the police to register an FIR. And we have discussed the case of Madhubala, where Honorable Supreme Court has held that once the judicial magistrate has given order to the police to register an FIR, the police is bound to register an FIR. It cannot raise any ifs and buts or any question over the order of the judicial magistrate. But if they do that, then they can be prosecuted, they can be punished under the provisions of section 166. Now, thus, we have already discussed that if SHO if the in charge of the police station has refused to register an FIR, the complainant can send the information directly to the SP, and SP, he will conduct the investigation, or he will authorize anybody else also. Now, the copy of the FIR must also be given to the informant immediately on the same day after writing the FIR, because he is entitled to copy. This copy must be given to him. Now, the power of judicial magistrate, which has been given under section 156, subsection 3, are vast powers. Even if the politicians, they are controlling the in charge of the police station, but a judicial magistrate can supersede all those persons and can give direction to that in charge of the police station that you should register an FIR. And very interesting thing, the in charge of the police will write an FIR and he will immediately send the copy of FIR to that judicial magistrate who has given order. Yes, students, this was about a registration of FIR. In the next lecture, we will read this section 154 and we will read this authority also thoroughly. Now, you please solve your question paper, because I think your question paper might be on your mobile. All the best. Thank you. Good morning, students. Let us start with today's session. Now, in earlier lecture, I have thrown much light on the topic of FIR. What is First Information Report, and in which circumstances it is mandatory on the part of the police to register an FIR, and in what circumstances the police will be given opportunity to conduct preliminary inquiry first of all. Now, with regard to FIR, there are many other questions. Now, such questions may be arising in your mind also. Now, first of all, I will discuss those questions. In other words, we will come out of this CRPC and how the courts are holding the FIR to be very, very important document, and in which circumstances the police officer who is having no jurisdiction can conduct the investigation. Now, you may not write anything. You may not write anything. I will dictate each and everything. Now, the question which comes to the mind of the students is whether FIR can be registered in police station, which is having no jurisdiction over the place of commission of offense. For example, A has committed some offense and a police station at Jalandhar has registered an FIR and starts conducting investigation. After investigation, it has come to the knowledge of the investigating officer that in fact this offense was committed in the area of Kapurthala. I will write short Kapurthala. Now in this case, FIR has been registered at Jalandhar. Jalandhar is a different district from that of Kapurthala. Now in such a case, what should be done? Now such a controversy had arisen before Honorable Supreme Court in two very, very important cases. Yes, students, the chapter of investigation is one of the most important chapter. We may devote much time over that so that there should not be any doubt in your mind with regard to first information, with regard to investigation. Now, Honorable Supreme Court in Satvinder Kaur's case and in state of Andhra Pradesh versus Punati's case have held that there is no bar on the police officer to conduct investigation, even if the offense was committed somewhere else. Now, in this regard, we have already read section 156 also, in which it has been made clear that nobody will challenge the authority of the police officer who is conducting investigation, because police officer is solely in charge of that investigation. Now the Honorable Supreme Court has held that the scheme of our CRPC does not prohibit the police officer from conducting investigation with regard to offense committed beyond his jurisdiction. Now here, the police station Jalandhar was perfectly right in conducting investigation. He can conduct investigation. There is absolutely no bar. When FIR has been registered, there is no bar. Then the police is required to conduct investigation. Please keep in mind that there is absolutely no bar. The police officer, he will be in charge of the case. It is immaterial that he is belonging to some other district, because our CRPC does not prohibit. Does not prohibit. Now let us see the next question. Whether the High Court can quash the FIR or registered in the wrong area. In these circumstances, FIR has been registered at Jalandhar, but in fact, the offense was committed in the area of Kapurthala. It has come to the knowledge of police officer only after conducting investigation. Now, if somebody goes, for example, if accused who has been called now has gone to High Court and he made a request to the High Court, look here, sir, this FIR at Jalandhar should be cancelled, should be quashed. Please remember this word, quashed. Quashed means set aside, to declare the FIR to be null and void, to be having no value in the eyes of law. Now this word we will use frequently because this is the power with the High Court. Now Honorable Supreme Court in both these cases, which we have discussed, in both these cases, they have held that High Court is having no power at this stage of investigation to interfere with the investigation. It cannot quash, because in some cases the High Court had quashed the FIR merely on the ground that FIR has been registered in some wrong area. Honorable Supreme Court has established a law that the scheme of our CRPC does not authorize High Court to intervene with the investigation of the police officer. Let him conduct the investigation. When the case will come to the court will see whether the court is to conduct inquiry, court is to take cognizance, court is to conduct a trial also. At that stage, the judiciary should not intervene, because police department is working under the government. And it may, now the very interesting thing here in such a situation arises, whether the police officer Jalandhar at initial stage, when he has not started conducting investigation, can he transfer the case to Kapurthala? Yes, students, there is absolutely no bar. There is absolutely no bar. The police officer at Jalandhar, when he comes to know at the initial stage, before starting investigation, or even during investigation, if he has come to know that this case is belonging to Kapurthala, he can transfer the case to Kapurthala. And similarly, again, High Court is nobody to transfer the case from one police station to another police station. Because the police officer, if he finds that this will be investigated efficiently, properly by other police station, then he will transfer the case to other police station. Let me give you one very important incident. Once upon a time, there was editor of Tehelka. Tehelka was journal, it was newspaper. It was being published by Mr. Tejpal. Tejpal was editor. And this Tejpal has done marvelous things by conducting raids, through his cameras, by bringing the misdeeds of the ministers, misdeed of the officer on surface before the public. Now, he has done marvelous thing. But on one day, what happened? He was belonging to Delhi. He went from Delhi to Goa with his other subordinate lady officer of his own Tehelka. And at Goa, he outraged the modesty of that lady while they were present in some, say, hotel, while coming through a lift, and while they were alone in the lift, No, he has done that thing. Now that lady took it very seriously, and she wanted to get FIR registered. But she came to Delhi. She came to Delhi, and because she was to come to Delhi due to urgency. And at Delhi, she got the FIR registered. Now, Delhi police station was having no jurisdiction to conduct investigation of the offense which was committed in the area of Goa. But since the police is under obligation, as per section 154, please keep in mind, section 154 does not say about jurisdiction. Section 154 simply says that whenever some information is given to the police, disclosing some cognizable offense having been committed, then it is the duty of the police to register an FIR. There is absolutely no word with regard to jurisdiction. Now, Delhi police has registered that FIR, and Delhi police has transferred that FIR to Goa. And yes, students, keep in mind that once the FIR has been transferred from Delhi, now we will, with regard to Delhi, we will say it is a zero FIR. It is zero FIR because Delhi is now having no FIR. It has already transferred the entire case to Goa. Please keep in mind, sometimes this question may be there, that what is zero FIR, because students may not be confused. No doubt, earlier I have discussed this point when some student, I think it was Simar, who has pointed out with regard to some offense relating to Chandigarh and Hoshiarpur. Now, Simran. Yes, Simran. Yes, there also I mentioned that it will be zero FIR. Please keep in mind. Because the police, so far as at this stage, the investigation is being conducted. No other action is going to be taken. But the question is, now the second question will arise. Whether a police officer in such a case who has conducted investigation at Jalandhar, but the case was belonging to Kapurthala, whether he can present the police report to the Kapurthala Judicial Magistrate or not. Here answer will be yes, he can file. Now, it was also discussed. This controversy was also discussed in both these important cases. And in both these cases, Honorable Supreme Court has made it clear that there is no bar on a police officer who is conducting investigation in some other area where the offense was not committed. Now he can present the challan there before the judicial magistrate Kapurthala. No doubt, thereafter it's the public prosecutor who will pursue the case, because public prosecutor is in charge of that case. For courts, it is immaterial whether the investigation was conducted by this police station or by that police station, because section 156 lays down that judicial magistrate cannot raise any question on the police officer from where he has got the information, or that he was having no power to conduct the investigation. He cannot challenge. Even High Court cannot. High Court cannot challenge that. Yes, with regard to FIR, please keep such things in mind, because I will dictate you each and everything thereafter. Firstly, listen to me that how many questions can arise out of this section 154 with regard to FIR? Many questions may come to your mind also. Raise the query, raise the doubt. We will discuss your doubts also with regard to this FIR. Yes, students, first of all, we will touch now this chapter of investigation, which is one of the most important chapter. And we have read many sections. We have discussed how the confession is written under section 164. We have discussed how the accused is released on bail under section 167 also. Many sections have already been discussed. We have discussed yesterday 154, 155 and 156 also. Let us see what more question may arise, what more questions may arise there. Let us see, let me see. Oh yes, we will discuss this closer report also. Come to this side. Oh yes, let me discuss with you that in a case, it was a Rajesh Sharma versus State. What happened? FIR was registered under section 498A and 406 of IPC, and complainant was one married a woman, and she lodged the complaint that her husband has subjected her to cruelty, as her husband and a relative of husband, they are demanding dowry and they are in the habit of beating her. She raised the allegations. And she has also raised the allegation that the property which was entrusted to them at the time of marriage has also been misappropriated by them, and they have committed this offense also. 406. Section 406 of IPC says that if somebody has committed the criminal breach of trust, he will be punished under section 406. 498A says that if husband or relative of husband, they subjects the woman to cruelty, or they harass the woman on account of demand of dowry, then they can be punished under section 490. But students, this in this authority, Honorable Supreme Court has discussed the malpractice which has been adopted by a large number of ladies. Now, whenever small matrimonial dispute arises between husband and wife, or between wife and a relative of husband, what happens? Immediately, lady goes to advocate, and advocate suggests, come to police station, let us register FIR. And in FIR, what happens? That lady implicate not only her husband, but her old parents and her sister-in-law, Nanan, or any other brother of the husband, or any other relative. Now here, many persons are implicated only for the purpose of teaching lesson to them. Now this malpractice came before Honorable High Court in a Rajesh Sharma case, and they discussed in detail that Section 498 was created, was established, was inserted in this IPC by Parliament for specific purpose, so that a woman should not be unnecessarily harassed. But now it has been misused by disgruntled women for their own purpose, for simply harassing. Now, in this case, parents who are very, very old, who cannot even walk, allegations were that they used to beat her. Now, in this case, Honorable Supreme Court has held that in future, whenever FIR is registered, the police will not conduct the investigation. Police will not proceed further with the investigation. Rather, there will be one family welfare committee, which will be headed by some retired judge, and there will be 2 members, some retired officer, just like PCS officer, SDM, like that, or some social worker will be there. 3 members will constitute the committee, and the case should be sent to that committee. The police will not conduct the investigation, and it is the committee which will first of all see whether the matter can be amicably settled or not, and it will give its own comments, it will give its own verdict, and that opinion given by that committee will be sent to the police station, and the police officer will implement that opinion, that decision of the committee. Similarly, if in such circumstances, such a woman files criminal complaint under section 200 of CRPC, in that case also, Honorable Supreme Court has put a bar on the magistrate that he will not conduct any inquiry. Rather, that complaint will be sent to this Family Welfare Committee, and it is the Family Welfare Committee which will decide, which will take steps, which will call the parties for bringing them to a compromising table, so that there may be some amicable settlement between the parties. Yes, this was the Honorable Supreme Court has put a bar on police. But later on, a full bench discussed this point, and full bench did not agree to formulating such a family welfare committee, and full bench has held that by constituting this family welfare committee, we are putting hurdle in the way of our system created by CRPC, because CRPC is laying down the law, how the investigation is to be conducted, how the judicial magistrate is to conduct the inquiry under section 200, how the judicial magistrate is to examine the witnesses. Then the Honorable Supreme Court has held that they have overruled this authority. I will discuss with you that authority also. Now, with regard to this FIR, these questions may be there. Therefore, keep in mind whether there is any other doubt in your mind. Now, let us see. Once FIR has been registered, the police may conclude that according to them, no offense has been committed. According to them, specific accused has not committed any offense. Now they will, very interesting thing, Once FIR is registered, the police is bound to send the report to the judicial magistrate. Police cannot file the case by saying that this case is not, it cannot be investigated. It is not subject to investigation, or it is not fit for investigation. It cannot file the case. It will have to send the report. Now that report, it may be closer report. Now if the police report officer is of the view that nobody has committed an offense, or specific accused who has been named, he was arrested, and it has emerged that he has not committed an offense, the police can present closer report with a prayer to the magistrate that this FIR should be cancelled. Now this closer report may be named as cancellation report. Now here the police is not raising any allegation against anybody. Rather, the police is saying that nobody is liable. Now in that case, now we may say that it is a cancellation report or it is closure report. Now sometimes it may be untraceable report. Let me dictate you. You may not write. I will dictate later on. Simply listen to me. Now this A has lodged an FIR that somebody has stolen many items from his shop, and the police has registered an FIR under section 380 of IPC. Now A did not disclose the name of the accused because he himself does not know, and the police has conducted the investigation and no clue was found, nothing was found against, nothing was found which can disclose the name of the accused, which can disclose the identity of the accused. Now, therefore, after conducting investigation, police has failed to trace out the accused, and it will send the report to the court. Now, this report will be known as untraceable report. It will be untraceable report. Now, question arises whether the judicial magistrate first class is bound to accept closure report, cancellation report, or untraceable report as it is, or he is having some power. Yes, students, the judicial magistrate first class is absolutely not bound to accept the closure report, to accept the cancellation report as it is. Now there are three options with the judicial magistrate. First option is he can accept that. There is no bar. He can accept on the ground that police has conducted the investigation properly and they have reached the just a decision, and they have sent the report according to their investigation. Therefore, he can agree to the cancellation report. He can agree to that untraceable report also. Now, second option is he can reject the opinion of the police and can take cognizance on the basis of same report on the ground that police has reached this opinion wrongly, whereas the accused is liable because the record presented by the police itself shows that the accused has committed an offense, then the judicial magistrate can take cognizance under section 190. It is subsection 1, clause B. We have discussed cognizance on police report. Now this will be known as a police report. Either it is a cancellation report, or it is a closure report, or some allegations are raised against the accused. We will say that this will be known as police report, and he can take the cognizance. Now, third option with the judicial magistrate is that he can send the case back to the police, and he can say, he can give the direction to the police that you should conduct a further investigation in this case. And he can write the points also, that on these points you have not conducted the investigation. He can give direction to the police, and police is bound to conduct further investigation. And thereafter, the police will present the report again to that judicial magistrate. Now, this is how, on the basis of FIR, the police starts conducting investigation, and this is how the police concludes, and it presents the report to the. Now, in such a situation, suppose in some case, suppose here, in this case, A has named XYZ, that 3 persons were there who have committed this theft, and police has reached the conclusion that X was not there. Now then, at the time of presenting police report, what the police will do, police will name X in Khana number 2 of the police law. Now it is, you can well link it with section 319, which we have discussed thoroughly. This is how we will continue to link one section to another, one concept to another section. Now in this case, the name of the X will be kept in Khana number 2 of that police report. In such circumstances, section 169 of this CRPC lays down that police is competent to discharge X, to release X on the ground that it has not found any material against that X, and it can mention his name in Khana number 2. Now suppose there is only one accused. For example, A has named only B, that only B has committed this theft, and the police reaches the conclusion that in fact B had never committed this theft. Then it is the situation where they will present this closure report or cancellation report. Now in such circumstances, what order will be passed by the judicial magistrate? Now the judicial magistrate, what he will do? Judicial magistrate will pass an order in such case that he agrees to the grounds mentioned by the police, and these grounds are convincing for cancelling FIR. Now the judicial magistrate is competent to cancel that FIR. He can cancel that FIR. But if he wants to take here this step of cancellation of the FIR, he must give notice to the complainant, because this order of the judicial magistrate will definitely be having adverse effect on the complainant. and we will be doing injustice to the complainant if the complainant is not summoned. Therefore, he will summon the complainant. He will ask the complainant whether he is having any objection. Definitely, he will be having objection that he has lost an FIR. He is having the proof. And in that case, he will be allowed to present protest petition. Protest petition, and in protest petition, he will raise the points on the basis of which the judicial magistrate can find out from the record and can take cognizance, because the aim before the complainant is that accused must be booked. Court must take the cognizance under section 190 of the offense having been committed by specific accused. Now, in such circumstances, the court will pass self-contained order, self-speaking order. Now, these are the points which we will discuss in detail in coming 1 or 2 days, because this chapter relating to investigation, it will take at least 2 days, because although sections are a few sections, but it takes time, because this investigation, in fact, investigation and FIR is the base of decision of the criminal courts, because decision of the criminal court is entirely dependent on FIR, on the investigation. That is why it is very, very important chapter, because at every time, whenever the case is being tried, the court will be concerned with the investigation, because during investigation, the police officer, once FIR has been registered, the police officer is duty bound to start writing statements of the witnesses who are well acquainted with the facts and circumstances of the case. And his investigating officer is duty bound to go to the site of occurrence if it is a necessity. If it is a necessary, he will go there. He will take the photograph also. He will collect some material also from that site. Now he will collect the documentary proof also. Now, in fact, the aim of the investigation is not to determine whether case is false or true. The investigating agency is only to collect the evidence and to bring that evidence before the court with a prayer to the judiciary that, look here, sir, this person has committed this offense. We have collected this evidence. We have sufficient proof to prove his guilt. Therefore, cognizance will be taken, inquiry may be made, or trial may be conducted. Now, this is how we can say the case will be concluded by judicial magistrate or session judge. We have already discussed in detail their process, that once police report comes to that judicial magistrate, how the judicial magistrate starts conducting trial. Yes, students, I will dictate answer in the next lecture. Now you should solve your question paper. It might come to you quickly. Thank you.